Hi folks, in this video I thought I'd show you what you need for your home studio and then how to use that to create backing tracks to practice to. Personally, I hate playing to a click track, don't like it at all, quite often get lost and miss it. Much prefer to practice along to a song or to at least to a drum beat. Using this method, we're going to take the original song, split it into separate tracks, and then replace the tracks that we want to play. So basically making a backing track. So we just remove which bits we don't want to use. I'm going to use the song What's Up by Four Non Blondes, also covered by, I think Pink has it in just about every one of her sets, and I think Lady Gaga does it as well. So it's quite a popular tune. And it's one that's been requested a couple of times as well. If you stick around to the end of the video, I'll show you how to play the electric guitar part for this song, and also I'll leave the backing track in it so that you can practice to it yourself at the end. Equipment wise, this video is not sponsored in any way, shape or form. All the equipment I'll show you and the software I'm going to show you just happens to be what I own. I'll tell you what you need, and then you decide on your own budget and what you want to spend your money on. That's entirely up to you, and I'm not going to recommend any way, one way or the other. There is a lot of choices out there. So the one I have is this little Behringer thing here, and that has 4 channels on it, so 4 inputs. It just connects up to the computer using USB, and these inputs here are known as combi jacks, or combi sockets rather, and they will take both an XLR, which is this type of 3-pin connector here. Don't know if you can see that. It's like a microphone cable. It's got the little 3 pins in there, and they will also take a TRS, which is tip ring sleeve or 1/4-inch guitar cable. So that'll just slot straight into the center. So it's a really handy thing. It saves a lot of space. Along the bottom there we have the trims for each one to set the levels to make sure that we're not going in too hot a signal, too strong a signal, or too weak a signal, because you want it just about right. If it's too weak, you're going to end up with a lot of background noise. If it's too strong, it'll distort and you'll never be able to fix it after it's recorded. So software wise, this is FL Studio 20, which is basically a recording studio on software, which is, they're brilliant things. Digital Audio Workstations is what their proper title is, or DAWs, DAWs. There are lots of them on the market. I think the professionals like to use Pro Tools. Personally, I think that's very expensive. I think it's gone to a subscription model now, so it's probably not really within the reach of most home users. I like Fruity Loops. I like the interface. It makes sense to me, and I can work with it quite easily. It's things like Cubase, Audacity. There's loads of others. Again, you have a look around. Once you know what it is you're looking for, then you can go and see what options they are and work to your own budget and your own requirements. Same with the audio interface. There's loads of them out there. I think the Focusrite ones tend to get a really good write-up. I think for me it was a little bit too expensive at the time, which is why I went for the Behringer one, which does everything I need it to do, and it sounds pretty good to me. So we're going to make a backing track that I can practice to, and I'm saying this is for practice purposes only. Because if you were to use somebody else's original recordings, you're into a world of pain with copyright. If you were to go and release that, obviously, it would be naughty to say the least. But for practice, your home use, no reason why you can't do that. There's lots of stuff on the internet these days with AI, using AI to separate tracks or pull vocal tracks or separate things, and the way they work is mostly through EQing and silencing certain frequencies and isolating certain frequencies and what have you. The AI does it all for you. Some of them are better than others. The one I'm going to show you here is the one that I found that I think works the best. Again, no sponsorship here, is just what I've found from hunting about as I've been playing with this. The first thing I need to do is to grab my original audio file. I'm going to upload that to this website, which will help me strip it all out. So I'll just show you that just now. Okay, so this is vocalremover.org, and all I'm going to do is choose this option down here called Splitter. I'm then going to upload my file, if I can find it. So the original WAV file, it's going to pull that in, and then it's going to automatically split them. So that'll take a little while. So once that's finished uploading, it'll take a little while. It will separate, it'll process it, and it will separate the different files and then give me an option to download whichever ones that I want. So it's a really useful tool. As I say, tried different, there's loads of these out there. This is the one that I found works the best. For me, again, do your own research if you want. I really like this one. Once it's finished uploading, it will start processing. And again, it takes a few minutes, depending on the size of the file that you've given it. And there we go. So we've now got each track. So we've now got the music separated, a separate vocal, a separate bass, and separate drums, which is all really handy. So now all I need to do is hit save, and I choose what it is that I want. So I can then go down and just keep clicking on those. So click the music, and that's now downloading. Click on save, I can do the vocal. Click save again, do the bass, it's downloading, and then the drums. Okay. So, and that's all we need that software for. I can come out of that site now and go back to my, that's the cat. So come out of the software, come out of the website now, and I'll come back to my my digital audio workstation, go to my downloads, and there's my files there. So I can copy them over into my project folder and just start dragging and dropping. But just as an example, that all I need to do is grab the file, drag and drop it into the track that I want it, line it up to the beginning, do the same again. So that was the music, there's the vocals, let's get the drums. There's the drums and the bass. So now if I hit play on that, I've kept the original in here because that's where the actual everything apart is in there. To get up that great big hill of hope. If I mute the original for a destination, I realized quickly when I knew I should that the world drums, was made up the bass, and the vocal, which is ideal for what I want because I'm going to replace the guitars. Whatever that means. Into a crisis time. So I'll just tidy that up. I've actually got another one here that I've already started on. Where are we? Okay, so what we can then do is assign each of these tracks to a channel on our mixer below. So up here we've got our wave file, all the individual samples that are taken, and then down below we've got a mixer, and then I can allocate each one of these to each one of these. I can put them wherever I want. So I just stuck them in the middle there just to show you how they could go wherever. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mute the original, well no I'm not actually, I'm going to mute everything else and leave the original mix on. Okay, so we've grabbed the acoustic, and first thing I need to do obviously is connect it to the interface. So just using the DI on this one. So I'm going to go into input 2 there. Could be any of the 4, doesn't really matter. So that's it plugged in. Now I need to tell the software, obviously I need to tell the software where it's coming from. So I've picked insert 2 here. Wouldn't matter, it could be, let's pick insert 8 just because we can. Need to route that the right place. There we go. And over here I can tell it which input it's using. So I'm plugged into input 2 there, and I choose input 2 here. And now when I strum, you should see the signal coming in. There we go. Also seeing a light flashing here, a little green light there. Now what I need to do here is get the volume set on the guitar. I can push that up quite loud. You see how the little red clip light is going there? I don't want that. You don't want that clipping red at all. So just turn that gain level down just a touch. So that's us set up, ready to go. Now I need to tell the computer what track to record that onto. So we told it what channel to use, but we haven't told it which track to use. So I'm going to use the next available one here, which is this one here, and I'm going to assign that to insert 8, which is this one here that we're plugged into. So now you can see the signals coming in here as well. So when I hit record, that's where it's going to record to. So all I need to do is hit record. I'm going to play. This is still not muted. This is the original track. So I'm going to play along with that and record my acoustic guitar. Where were we? Okay, yeah, so chords for this are A, B minor, D, and back to A again. Now, if you're the kind of person that doesn't like bar chords, you can of course use a capo on the 2nd fret and play G. That gives you your A chord. A minor shape will give you a B minor, and the C shape will give you a D. Okay. So let's hit record and go for it.
that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of man, for whatever that means. Into a crisis, times when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head, and I am feeling a little peculiar. And so I wait 25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination.
So now I've got that acoustic guitar recorded, I can then switch off that original track, which has everything in it, and turn on the individuals, and now I should be able to mix my acoustic track in with the drums, bass and vocals. So let's just hit play on that. Let's see what it sounds like. Okay, so that sounds fine, but I think I can make that sound better. So what I can do is use some of these insert slots over here to add in some processing. So the first thing I'm going to do is put in some EQ. Now I've already got a preset made up for my Taylor DI, which makes it sound better. And I'm also going to add in some reverb. Now all these plugins that you see here, there's tons of them. Fruity Loops Studio or FL Studio comes with a few already, quite a lot already installed, but there are loads of free ones there that you can download as separate little packages, and it just links into them so that you can use anything. There's also some very good ones that you have to pay for as well. Some of them are worth it. It depends what you want to use them for. So I was looking for some reverb for this. Let's see now. Let's go for a small studio and see what that sounds like. See, I think that sounds better already.
25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that the world...
That sounds pretty good to me. It's certainly good enough for practicing too. So that's pretty much my backing track complete. So what I'm going to do here is export that as a completed file. Just call that backing and click save, and then export it. And that'll create my backing track now for practicing the electric guitar part too. Obviously now we've got this separated, I could record the electric guitar part as well and then mute any of the other tracks that I want to use as the backing track. So I could take the vocal out, for instance, for practicing that. I could take the bass out and I could replace that, etc, etc. It just gives you that options. So that's it finished. So if I Save that now. And now we can go on to the next part, which is the electric guitar part. So for this, I'm going to come to this next insert here. I'm already set to channel 2 here for the input on my audio interface. So that should be good to go as soon as I arm the track and grab the guitar. Before I go on to the next part, I'm just going to say other pieces of equipment that you might want to look at. A decent set of monitoring headphones. Monitoring headphones are different to normal headphones, and the same with speakers as well. Yeah, if you don't like headphones, you want to use speakers, that's fine. But remember, if you're using a microphone, they're going to pick up the speakers as well. So headphones are pretty much a must, I would say, for home recording. There's a difference between standard hi-fi headphones and speakers than there is to monitor ones. Standard hi-fi speakers and headphones actually add something to the sound. They have a different frequency responses to them, whereas monitor ones, in theory, should give you flat sound. So you should get the real thing. Nothing's added by the external things. Would always say for something, if you're recording one of your own tunes or something, I would say that you should probably take a record and get it set up how you think it sounds right, do an export, and then listen to it on as many different devices as you possibly can to get a good idea of what it's really going to sound like. And you may find, quite often I find anyway, that when I come back to it, when I listen, particularly in the car or on the telephone, I may have to come back and tweak the EQs and stuff like that just to make it sound decent across the board on all systems. So the more devices you can listen to it on, the better, really. So yeah, that's my monitor speakers aren't great, and that's probably my next big ticket item that I will spend some money on. For your home studio setup, I would say microphones is where you want to put your investment into. Microphones are a whole minefield unto themselves, and yeah, you could probably make several videos just about microphones. There are so many out there, and they all do slightly different things, and it's worth spending a little bit of time reading up, finding out what they do, if possible testing a few out for various purposes. So different microphones. So I've got this little flat one here. That's a Sennheiser E906, I think it is, which is great for guitar amps, for instance, but no good as a vocal microphone. This main microphone here, which is a Shure SM7B, this one here, is a brilliant vocal microphone for speaking, also for singing. Big diaphragm, very good for close proximity use. So softly singing or speaking. A great voiceover microphone, for instance. And there is a huge difference between one of these and a little cheapy thing. The thing with professional microphones is most of them need a phantom 48 volt power supply. Now the audio interface comes with that in it as well. It's just a switch on the back to turn that on or off. So just be aware of that. If you plug it in and it's not working, then you probably haven't got the power supply switched on. So yeah, microphones is where you want to do most of your research, I would say, and probably spend most of your budget. The only reason I'm saying this is because over the years I've made so many bad purchases on equipment because I didn't really understand the requirements. So yeah, it's worth spending a little bit of time finding out what's what and buying the right thing, so you only buy it once. So right, where are we? Right, yes, so we've exported this. We've exported that now, so we've now got our backing track. So I could actually come out of that and just play play along to the backing track that I've made. If I open up my file, where do we go? There we go. So now I've got something that I can stick on my telephone, wear headphones to and play along to. I can do whatever I want with.
25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope.
So yeah, cool, ready to go. Now I'm going to leave it in Fruity Loops at the moment rather than playing along to my MP3 file, just because I can put all my guitar effects in here as well. Now the guitar effects I'm using here is a system called Guitar Rig, a piece of software called Guitar Rig. If I can get that to open up, it's quite processor heavy, this, so maybe smaller computers may struggle a little bit with it. Personally I think it's a great thing. The reason there's loads of these, again, it's another plugin. Although you can use it standalone as well, so you don't have to use it within the digital audio workstation. You can use whatever you can just open it up on Windows, plug in and start playing. This one, the reason I chose this one was because I have an old vintage WEM Dominator valve amp there, which has got a certain sound with my foot pedals and everything. I think it sounds great, especially tied up with a Telecaster. And this bit of software had a patch in it which sounded pretty damn close to it. So it's the closest one I could find after testing a few out. So that's why I jumped for this one, just so I get a bit of consistency between playing through my amp and playing through software. Always prefer just to plug in and record it raw and then add the guitar sound afterwards. I could use all my pedals and stuff like that, no problem. But the problem with that would be that if I didn't like it afterwards, when I go to mix it down, I can't change it. If I've recorded the raw signal, I can change the software afterwards and change the sound that I've got later, which creates something that's much more workable, saves you a lot of time and a lot of work. So there's my sound that I'm going to pick. I think that's the sound I picked for this. May have to test that. Okay, so grab the guitar and we'll go through the electric guitar part for this song, and while we're at it, I might as well show you how to play it. 25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of man, for whatever that means. Into a crisis times when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head. And I am feeling a little peculiar. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say, hey, yeah,
life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination.
So, electric guitar part, the main riff in the song, the lead break, starts off on the 9th fret of the G string, comes down to the 7th fret on the D string, slide that down to the 2nd fret on the D string and hammer onto the 4th. So. And then you've got this tricky little bit here, which is not really tricky, but it can be a bit confusing. So, and what I'm doing there is 2nd fret on the D string, 2nd fret. So, sorry, what I'm doing there is 2nd fret on the D string, hammering onto the 4th fret, and then going over to the 2nd fret on the G string, and then you're just kind of wandering around those 3 notes. Hammer on, D string, 2 to 4, 2 on the G, back to 4 on the D, same again, down, 2 to 4, and then 2 on the G, 4 on the D, and back to 2 on the G again. And then on the D string, we're going to slide from the 5th to the 7th and hit the G string on the same fret, back to the D string on the same fret, 7th, 5th fret on the G string with a tiny little bit of a bend, and back to 7th fret on the D string. And then we've got the little fill at the end, which is on the A string, 5 to 7, 2 hammer-ons. And we're back to the beginning. 7th fret on the D. Second time round, we don't play the 9th fret, we're there already on that 7th fret on the D string. And this is when the vocal kicks in. So when she's singing, you don't want to play as hard, so play really softly here. This time, instead of sliding up and doing this bit, instead of doing that, you're just going to repeat that last phrase that you played down here. And then just that last bit. And then repeat that exactly the same again. That hammer on the 5th fret on the A string, 5th fret to 7th fret, is the same as playing open D and hammering onto 2. So use that in certain places within the song instead. Whatever's going to be easier for you. It sounds exactly the same. It's not going to make any difference at all which option you use, other than when you come into the power chords section. You're already there if you use that bit, yeah. So you've got the first part of the riff with the slide up is once, then it's twice through where you finish it with. So it does that twice. And then you're into the power chord section. So it's the same chords you would be using for the acoustic guitar section. So A, B minor, D, and back to A again. That's kind of a bit boring on its own, so there's things you can do just to flower that up and make it a little bit more interesting. Hopefully you like the bits that I was doing when I played through it. So all I'm doing there is plucking as the chord's ringing out, I'm just coming back up the strings slowly. When I come down to the D, I'm throwing in a sus4 and a sus2. So D sus4, D sus2, which is just taking your the sus4 is your pinky on the 3rd fret of the high E string, and the sus2 is with the high E string open. So I'm just walking down it as I come back up the strings. And then there's little fills that you can throw in on the A as well. So again, A sus4. So holding down the A chord, B string, 3rd fret. Goes through that power chord section twice. I call it, they're not really power chords. I call them power chords because that's the effect they're having. When you come into the strums, when it comes into the chorus, you start the strums. And there's little fills you can throw in here as well. I couldn't swear exactly what fills she's throwing in. It sounds something like what I'm trying to do here, which is basically running up the scale. Things like that, so. A string, hammering open, then hammering on 2 to 4. D string, open to 2. And then I do hammer-ons and pull-offs there. And come back to the chord. Do whatever you feel fits for yourself in there. Doesn't really matter, as I say, as long as it fits in, you're cool. Stick to the scale. If you don't, as long as you don't wander out of the scale, you're cool. And then we go back into there's a bit where she's doing the oohs and ahs, and then that's the full main riff again, played at full volume. Yeah. So you go through that twice, and then the second verse starts, and again drop your volume down, so just don't play as hard. And then repeat that last bit instead of the slide up. Do that twice. And then we're back into the power chord section now. This power chord section is slightly different, but not much. First time round we do exactly the same. This time, once we go to the B minor, instead of saying on that B minor, we're going to slide up to a bar D chord. So it's an A-shaped bar chord with a bar on the 5th fret. It gives you a D chord. And then we come back to how we would normally play a D. And as it's winding up to get back into the second chorus, which is where all the power is, you've got this little twiddly bit. And that is B string, 12th fret, and I'm bending that as if it's going. I'm bending that a full tone, so it's like it's going to the 14th fret. That's the note you're after. So I'm putting my first finger on the 10th fret. I'm using my ring finger then to do the bend, and I can pull off back to the 10th fret and slide it back up again. Now when you're playing these bends, it's quite often easy to end up hitting an open string that you don't need to, because it catches on your fingers. So as you slide back, you end up getting bong in the middle of it, and you don't want that. So try with your right hand to dampen or kill that G string as much as you possibly can. One thing you can do is rest your thumb on the G string there and use your foot, if you play with your fingers, rest your thumb on the G string and use your first finger to pluck the B string. And that way you've got no chance of hitting it, you know, it's going to be cool. And then you straight back into the chorus, which is again the strum section. On that last chorus section, you play through the chord sequence 4 times. And then once you're done that, on the last time round, you've got the little fill again. As that's ringing, you need to slide straight back up and get back onto that 9th fret on the G string. I find to keep that ringing like that, I can't possibly do it. I suspect it was done as an overdub in the studio. So I just slid up. I managed to hit it once. And then as you do that last slide, it slows down, because the whole track then slows towards the end. It kind of slows down and sort of peters out, really. So slow your playing down as well, and just hold that last note until it fades naturally. Just don't let it go until the guitar has faded out completely. I'm not adding in any extra sustain or anything on there. You could add a bit of vibrato. You could maybe wobble the guitar to get a little bit of extra sound out of it, etc. You know, a bit of wobble in it. You can just hold it until it fades out, and the acoustic and her vocal finishes the song off. So anyway, that's the electric guitar part. I hope that was enough to explain it to you. If not, you can always slow the video down and watch what I was actually playing when I played along to it, and see if you can figure it out from there. But those are the notes. Again, G string 9th fret, D string 7th fret, D string 2nd to 4th and 2 on the G, 5th fret A string, hammer onto the 7th, or open D string and hammer onto 2. And that's pretty much the whole song, other than those little fills which are kind of optional and really up to you. Again, we all use our own types of fill, and as I say, I couldn't pick out exactly what she was playing there, but I think it sounded something similar to that to me anyway. So anyway, I hope you liked that. I'm going to finish off this video by leaving you the backing track itself to play through with some pretty pictures, and you can play along to that yourself if you like. If not, you can stop now, and I shall say cheerio, and thanks very much for watching. Cheers folks, bye bye.
years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of man, for whatever that means. Into a crisis, times when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head. And I am feeling a little peculiar. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? And I say, and I pray, oh my God, do I pray? I pray every single day for revolution. Into a crisis, times when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head. And I am feeling a little peculiar. Deep breath and I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? And I say, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? Ooh, ooh. 25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination.